Two lives are gone, a family has been left devastated, and an entire community is searching for answers after a shocking tragedy that appears to have been fueled by an online scam involving someone pretending to be one of television's most beloved stars. What started as an innocent online interaction reportedly spiraled into financial losses, emotional turmoil, and a heartbreaking ending that has captured national attention. The story centers on Karen Whitaker, a 79-year-old woman from Bermuda Dunes, California, and her husband, Donald Whitaker, who was 80 years old. For friends and neighbors, the Whitakers appeared to be a normal retired couple living a quiet life. But behind closed doors, a troubling situation had reportedly been developing for months, and perhaps even longer. Authorities were called to the Whitakers' home on May 15th after concerns were raised about their welfare. When deputies arrived, they made a grim discovery. Karen and Donald Whitaker were found dead inside their residence. Investigators later revealed that evidence suggested the deaths may have been the result of a murder-suicide. The investigation remains ongoing, but what quickly caught public attention was a disturbing detail that emerged during the days that followed. According to friends of the couple, Karen Whitaker had allegedly become involved in an online relationship with someone claiming to be legendary actor Tom Selleck. The person contacting her was not actually the famous television star. Instead, friends say it was a scammer who had carefully created a false identity and gradually gained Karen's trust. As more information became public, the case transformed from a tragic local incident into a cautionary tale about the dangers of online fraud and celebrity impersonation scams. According to longtime friend Joy Meadkey, the alleged scam began after Karen posted on Facebook about the death of a friend from high school. Shortly afterward, she reportedly received a message from someone claiming to be Tom Selleck. The person allegedly told her that he had known the deceased friend years earlier and wanted to offer condolences. At first glance, the message may have seemed unusual, but scammers are often skilled at creating believable stories. They look for emotional openings and personal connections that allow them to establish trust. In this case, the death of a friend may have provided exactly the opportunity the scammer needed. What began as a simple exchange reportedly turned into regular communication. Messages became frequent. The connection appeared to grow stronger. Over time, Karen reportedly became convinced that she was speaking with the real Tom Selleck. Friends quickly became suspicious. To them, the situation seemed obvious. Tom Selleck is one of the most recognizable actors in America, known for decades of success in television and film. Why would a major celebrity randomly begin messaging someone on Facebook? To Karen's friends, the answer was clear. It was a scam. But according to those who knew her, Karen refused to believe it. The more people tried to convince her that the messages were fake, the more committed she seemed to become. Friends reportedly warned her repeatedly. Family members tried to intervene. Yet the emotional bond she had formed with the person on the other side of the screen appeared stronger than any warning she received. This is one of the most frightening aspects of modern online scams. They are not simply financial crimes, they are emotional crimes as well. The scammers do not just steal money, they build relationships, they create trust, they make victims feel valued, special, and understood. By the time money enters the conversation, the victim may already feel deeply connected to the scammer. According to reports, that appears to be exactly what happened here. Eventually, the requests for money reportedly began. Friends say Karen started sending funds through gift cards and other methods. At first, the amounts may have seemed manageable, but over time, the requests reportedly became larger and more frequent. The financial losses began to add up. People close to the family estimate that at least $30,000 may have been sent to the scammer. Some believe the total amount could have been even higher. The exact figure remains unclear, but everyone agrees that the losses were substantial. For Donald Whitaker, the situation reportedly became increasingly stressful. Friends say he was deeply concerned about what was happening. He reportedly watched as money disappeared while repeated warnings went ignored. Family members eventually became involved. According to friends, they attempted to stop the transfers. Credit cards were allegedly taken away. Financial access was restricted. Various efforts were made to prevent additional money from being sent. But scammers often work hard to isolate their victims from people who might interfere. They convince victims that family members are wrong, jealous, or trying to ruin the relationship. They encourage secrecy. They create a sense of loyalty. Reports suggest Karen continued finding ways to communicate with the scammer despite the efforts being made around her. Friends say she spent countless hours sending messages. Some described the communication as nearly constant. Day and night, the connection reportedly continued.
What makes this case particularly tragic is the possibility that Karen genuinely believed she was helping someone she cared about. Victims of romance scams are often portrayed as naive, but experts point out that these scams succeed because they exploit basic human emotions. Loneliness, trust, hope, and companionship can affect anyone. Scammers understand this. They spend months building relationships before making major requests. They know how to identify vulnerabilities. They know how to gain confidence. They know exactly what to say when doubts begin to appear. As the situation worsened, friends say Karen even began asking others for money. One reported claim involved a story that money was urgently needed because of a tragedy involving someone connected to the supposed celebrity. To friends, this was yet another obvious warning sign. By this point, many people around Karen believed she was being manipulated. Yet, despite numerous attempts to intervene, the alleged scam continued. Questions have also been raised about whether Karen may have been especially vulnerable due to age-related issues. Some friends reportedly suggested she may have been experiencing signs of cognitive decline, although no official medical conclusions have been publicly released. If true, such vulnerabilities could have made it even easier for a scammer to gain control over the situation. Authorities reportedly became aware of concerns before the deaths occurred. Adult Protective Services is said to have visited the home after allegations of financial exploitation emerged. Investigators later confirmed that Karen had been the victim of financial elder abuse. However, officials have been careful to draw a distinction between the financial scam and the deaths themselves. At this time, investigators have not publicly stated that the scammer directly caused or participated in the deaths. There is currently no evidence indicating that the individual pretending to be Tom Selleck was physically involved in what happened inside the Whitakers' home. That distinction is important because public reaction to the case has been intense. Many people reading about the story immediately connected the scam to the deaths. Social media users expressed anger toward the unknown scammer and sympathy for the family. Thousands shared comments describing the situation as heartbreaking, tragic, and infuriating. Others pointed out that similar scams are becoming increasingly common. Across the United States and around the world, criminals are using fake celebrity profiles to target vulnerable individuals online. They steal photographs, create convincing social media accounts, and spend months building trust. Some pretend to be actors, others claim to be musicians, athletes, military personnel, or successful business executives. The specific identity changes, but the strategy remains remarkably similar. The scammer creates a fantasy. The victim becomes emotionally invested. Money is eventually requested, and by the time loved ones realize what is happening, significant damage may already have been done. Experts say billions of dollars are lost every year through romance scams and impersonation fraud. Elderly victims are often targeted because scammers believe they may have retirement savings, home equity, or access to financial resources. In addition, older adults may experience isolation that makes emotional manipulation more effective. That reality has made the Whitaker case especially painful for many observers. People see a couple who should have been enjoying retirement. Instead, they became caught in a situation that appears to have grown increasingly difficult to control. For Donald Whitaker, friends say the emotional burden became overwhelming. Reports suggest he struggled with the financial losses and the inability to stop the scam despite repeated efforts. While investigators continue examining exactly what occurred inside the home, many observers believe the emotional toll of the situation cannot be ignored. The story has also sparked renewed discussion about how families should respond when a loved one becomes involved in an online scam. Many experts argue that direct confrontation often does not work. Victims may become defensive, they may feel embarrassed, they may interpret criticism as an attack. Instead, experts recommend patience, evidence-based conversations, and professional intervention whenever possible. But even those approaches are not always successful. The emotional bonds created by scammers can be extraordinarily powerful. In Karen Whitaker's case, friends say she remained convinced that the relationship was real despite overwhelming evidence suggesting otherwise. That level of belief demonstrates just how effective these criminals can be. As investigators continue their work, many questions remain unanswered. Authorities have not released every detail surrounding the deaths. The final conclusions of the investigation have yet to be announced. What is known is that 2 people are dead, a family is grieving, and a community is struggling to understand how events reached such a tragic conclusion. The story has become a powerful reminder that online scams are not merely financial crimes. They affect real people, real families, and real lives. The consequences can extend far beyond money. For many viewers following this case, the most heartbreaking aspect is how ordinary it all began. There was no dramatic warning, no obvious sign of disaster, just a message on social media, a conversation, a connection, a growing sense of trust. Then came the requests for money. Then came the warnings from friends and family. Then came the escalating conflict, and ultimately came a tragedy that no one could have imagined when that first message appeared. As the investigation continues, many hope the story of Karen and Donald Whitaker will encourage others to be cautious online, verify identities, and seek help if they suspect a loved one is being manipulated by a scammer. For now, loved ones are left mourning 2 lives lost, while investigators continue searching for answers. And as the public learns more about what happened, one thing remains painfully clear. Behind every scam statistic is a real human story, and in this case, that story ended in unimaginable heartbreak. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates, breaking news stories, and exclusive coverage of the biggest headlines making waves around the world.